Happy Father's Day, you guys. I thought this would be the perfect time to pick up with part 28 of The Monster I Married. Since it is Father's Day, my son is insanely upset today as a direct result of my husband's indifference, neglect, and then total abandonment. So this episode, I would like to talk about the emotional fallout and also the financial implications of the position that this man has put me in willfully. So, the entire year of 2024, my husband spent about 4 hours with my sons. One mid-morning in March or maybe April, I can't remember, of 2024, he took them to an arcade. That was the only time that he spent with them the entire year. Not a single conversation was had the entire year about your mom and I. We didn't have a family conversation. He didn't have a one-on-one conversation with them. Nothing about I'm moving out. None of that. Can you really think about how these kids have never known anything else? How devastating it would be to not only know that this is happening, but then all of a sudden your dad is completely icing you out. Really think about that. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through this because it makes me so upset and so angry. Sorry, but if you're a mother, you get it. Or if you're just a human being who has empathy for children, then you get it. These kids have never known anything else. Their entire lives, they've had two parents, one home, right? All of a sudden, that's being taken away from them. And months go by. Months where that man lives in this house and doesn't say a word to them. Not a word. Sorry again. Anyway, not a word. This was my oldest son's senior year of high school. He was never going to graduate high school again. He was never going to have another senior year of high school. My husband could have made him a priority. My husband could have made it a priority to make my sons feel safe, to know, he could have done anything. He chose to spend his time chasing other women, constantly chasing other women, chasing the next, knowing that these kids were suffering bad. And I would cry and I would yell and I would be told, okay, he's depressed. What do you want me to do about that? Not an ounce of empathy in this man. Not an ounce. He decided after a year of silence to move out on their birthday weekend. On my son's 19th birthday, I'm sitting in his room with his little cake and balloons, and I'm talking to him while this piece of garbage is in the other room packing up his stuff, not saying a word. Now, when he left, he made it a point, not phone calls, not face-to-face, he made it a point to put them in a group chat and text them, I think, 3 or 4 times months ago. Like, he hasn't contacted them in months, but the first maybe month that he was gone, text them a handful of times so that there would be a paper trail of, look, I have tried. I have said, he sent them a video about the importance of a father-son relationship or some dumb shit. which is hilarious considering he ignored them for an entire year. And then since he's been gone, made zero attempt to see them because he wanted all of us to think that he was homeless or he was living in Washington, not to know that he was playing daddy and playing house with someone else. He didn't want us to know that. So one child is punching holes in the wall because he's so frustrated. He doesn't understand. And it's just, there are no words. There are no words for how someone could. He's a fucking monster. He's literally the grimiest, most vile, disgusting human being on the planet. Full stop. He dogged me out my entire adult life. He knew that every step of the way, he knew that he had it in him to walk away from all of us and pretend like we never existed. He knew that the entire time. And he just kept on and he kept on and he waited until they were grown, until it would devastate them the most. They weren't little kids that I could distract with the trip to Disney World. They weren't 6. They were adults. They were young adults. And he chose to do it then. And why did he choose to do it? Because he couldn't get away with cheating on me anymore. That's it. Because he couldn't lie in my face anymore. Because those days were over. And the minute that he realized that I knew exactly what he was and who he was, it was over. And who pays for it? My sons. And now he's actively doing it to someone else's children. He knows that he's capable of completely walking away from his entire family. And what does he do? Walk right into that exact same situation the moment he leaves my driveway. That's how vile he is. And again, don't let me forget to mention that he lied and said that my sons were living with him so that he could qualify to get this charity home to move the girlfriend and her kids in. So the emotional fallout on Father's Day, 15, 16 months later, is that not a word has been said to my sons in regards to, this is what, nothing. Meanwhile, this man is over here accepting Father's Day cards and pats on the back because we're so grateful that a wonderful man like you came into our lives. Meanwhile, he's a literal monster.